Steve Threat Sports Network fans, welcome back. It is a special time of year. It's the quarterfinals. You got Bryant and myself here today, and the playoffs are completely underway. And what better way to get our new year started than to watch some playoff football and listen to Bryant and myself this morning go ahead and dive into these playoff matchups. On this episode, obviously, we're going to break down all the main games for the playoffs today and tomorrow, and then we're going to have our Book It segment at the end. Bryant, you got any big plans for the New Year's?
Nothing really, just kind of casual. I think you'll agree with this. I think we're past the going out and partying days for New Year's, so laid back, nothing crazy. Might not even make it to midnight.
Yeah, the hangovers are a little special at this age for us, and I feel like with two young kids in my household too, the hangovers hurt a little bit harder the next morning because they just don't care that you stayed up drinking all night. But yeah, the wife and myself are gonna have the neighbors over. Got a pork butt on the smoker right now. Probably have a couple drinks, nothing crazy. Obviously, watch football all day and have a good time. But hey, anybody listening to us, you're welcome to swing in and participate and watch some football with us and have a few drinks. Got plenty of food, so make sure you're having a good time tonight. Be safe. Happy New Year's to all those who celebrate. Brian, any New Year's resolutions that you have coming up for yourself as we turn the page?
I'm doing. Me and Nolan and another buddy are actually doing 75 hard, so that will be interesting. It's not like I'm starting off on fresh. We've been working out pretty hard for a better part of the year, but just kind of start on January 1, like everybody else does. We're actually going to go through with it this year. We've done it before. But yeah, that's my New Year's resolution. Other than that, nothing too crazy. I think the New Year's resolutions are overrated.
Yeah, 100%. I think the only one that I have in mind is to give up soda. I feel like I can do it pretty easily. I do like soda, but I don't pound it. So I feel like I can give that up pretty easily. But, I mean, the main one for me is just to keep betting on sports, college basketball and college football, Brian. I mean, we're not going to give up on that. That's not going away.
Resolution is to stop losing. Just keep winning.
Just keep winning, baby. Real quick on the football side of things, Cam Coleman, number one in the transfer portal. Auburn's having an absolute mass exodus. I'm actually kind of surprised by this. I don't know if it's a culture issue there or not. I kind of thought Golesh would come in and straighten things out and some of these players would want to play for him, but apparently I'm wrong.
Yeah, there's been, like you said, mass exodus. They don't have hardly any receivers left. Been seeing that there's a lot of Auburn boosters and fans that are quite upset about it too already. Goes to show the unrealistic expectations they have down there, just because of who the neighboring school is, I think. But yeah, not a great start to the portal, but it is early. I'm sure he'll get some good guys to backfill. Maybe not like Cam Coleman's skill level, but we'll see.
If I recall correctly, they've lost their top three receivers, right?
Yes. 4.
It is 4. They're right. It is 4.
Yeah, because Singleton's done.
Yeah, and you got Arnold in the portal. I think both quarterbacks in the portal, actually, right?
Yep, because Deuce Knight's in the portal now too.
Man, hey, good luck to Auburn and Golesh in his first year there. Wish him the best of luck there. There's Dave getting in here today. It's tuning in from work. Dave, I'm pretty sure you run your own chiropractic office. I'm not sure what you're doing at work on New Year's Eve if you have this ability. But, hey, glad you could join us, get the patients involved, let them have a discussion. And if they don't like any of our picks, let them kick your ass and not ours while they're there with you. What do you say?
I love it.
Anything else, Brian, before we just go ahead and turn the page and get into the main game here?
Not really. It's hard to believe we're already in the last day of 2025. This year kind of flew by, but excited to watch these 4 games and what it turns out to be, and then looking forward to the semifinals after these are over.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Hey, we also have a new background that we made for you guys for this episode as well. If you can see it here on YouTube, this is a pretty sweet background. But that's going to be me later once we hit all these bets on the Book It segment, Brian.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's just go ahead and get into it then. And the first game that we're going to talk about is the Cotton Bowl. That is today, New Year's Eve, 6:30 p.m. on ESPN, Miami versus Ohio State. Ohio State minus 9.5, over under 40.5. This over under, Brian, is plummeting. Like this thing opened up, I think 44-ish. down to 40.5. The line stayed pretty steady. And I feel like it's a lot of points for this matchup. That's just the way I feel. But what do you got here?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we'll look at Miami's last matchup. I think it was the same number, and that game ended at 13 total. So I can see why it's plummeting. But this is a totally different game. But similarly to how Miami played with A&M, this is a battle of whose defense is going to keep up their good play and which side of the offensive ball can have some success. I think Ohio State's deeper on that side of the ball, offensively speaking. Is Bo Jackson going to keep up his great play as of late? Are the receivers going to stay involved? And can Julian Sand be a game manager like he has been all season? Now, this is, I think, the best defense they've played. Miami is the best team in the country in the trenches, especially on defense, and they're playing like it right now. That they literally just stopped a high-powered Texas A&M offense and held them to 3 points. So, on the flip side, it all comes down. I think this game's X factor is Carson Beck and the turnovers, like it's been all season.
Yep.
If he limits them, they're going to have a good game and have a chance to win. If he throws a few picks or makes a few bad decisions, which I think is likely to happen in this game, personally, I think it's not going to bode well for them. It all comes down to what Miami can do on offense. Can Cristobal stay out of the way, and can they be efficient on that side of the ball and get a chance to win this game? It's going to be an uphill battle.
There's a double-edged sword to the point that you just made about the Beck turnovers and how he might have one or Ohio State can force one in this game. I completely agree. But part of me tells myself that for Miami to have a chance in this game, Bryant, Beck's going to have to put the ball in a little bit of danger. They're going to have to take some shots, take some risk, hope for some explosive plays, because I don't think they're just going to win the game by methodically driving down the field. I don't think they're that caliber of team that they can just methodically drive it. I think you're also going to see them lean into the run game quite a bit based on what Mark Fletcher did against A&M. I don't expect 17 carries for 172 yards in this one. Ohio State's only allowed more than 100 yards on the ground 3 times this season. So I really don't expect that Miami is going to be able to have that level of success on the ground. Totally agree with you. Excuse me. We've been saying it all season that Miami is the best team, for sure, top 2 team in the trenches in the country. And I still think that is very true. So to say that this game is going to be won in the trenches is an easy out for anybody to say that, and I want to say it, you want to say it, and it's the truth, though. And that's just how it is. But I also think that it comes down to some of the quarterback play, like you said. But I think Beck has to take those chances. Pay attention to Julian Sand here. He's completing 78.4% of his passes. He is on track to break the single-season record that was set by Bo Nix of 77.45. So Julian Sand is very good at taking care of the ball. He gets it out extremely quick. He has very good receivers to get the ball to. I think, though, that Miami has the ability to speed him up, Brian. I really, really do. I think that this Miami pass rush can get after it and speed him up and maybe force him to make a few mistakes of his own.
Yeah, we saw it with Marcel Reed. And Marcel Reed can run a lot better than Julian Sand can. So he's going to get happy feet. He's going to have to throw the ball quicker than I think he's expecting. You're going to see it a few times. He's going to make some off script throws because he's getting pressured, not like he's used to. And he's not the type of quarterback that can just go and get 5 to 10 yards consistently with his legs either. So that's a very intriguing point that you just made as well.
Let's talk about these interceptions from both these quarterbacks a little bit more here. So, Sands only thrown 6 picks on the season, 1 each in the last 2 games. So in the last 2 games, he's got 2 picks. Beck has 5 games of only 1 pick. His last 5 games has only 1 pick. 12 touchdowns, 70% completion. So you could make a statement that he's really cleaned his game up. Obviously, the games that they have dropped, it was really, really ugly, right? But I think in the last 5 games, he's kind of cleaned it up. I don't want to say coming into his own. He's been around too long to come into his own, but I think he's settling in a little bit and knows what he has to do. And I think the offensive game plan has kind of helped him a little bit in taking care of the ball a little bit more.
Absolutely. They've kind of played more to his strengths, at least with the passing game, and also getting the run game going has helped as immensely there too. But your point earlier was great with the double-edged sword comment. He's going to have to walk a fine line because you're right. They're not going to be able to possess the ball and just kind of hold the ball away from Ohio State in this game. And this is not going to work. So he's going to have to make some downfield throws. We've seen him do it plenty of times, whether it was here or at Georgia. But can he limit those turnovers and also do that? Like you said, that's a very fine line he's going to have to walk in this game. I think it's like I mentioned, it's going to be the tipping point, and who's going to win this football game is that right there, I think.
For sure. And both these teams too are very similar statistically. Like both these defenses allow less than 200 passing yards. Both these defense allow less than 90 rushing yards. So they lean on their defense and hope the quarterback takes care of the ball. See, for me, Brian, and maybe this is just me, maybe I'm just wrong on this take, but I don't truly think either team's rushing attack scares me though. Like if I'm just not sold on either one of these rushing attacks. I know Miami just looked good. I know Ohio State runs the ball very well at times. But it's the conversation of Malachi Toney for Miami and Jeremiah Smith for Ohio State. These are two big-time receivers and studs, two of the best in the business. And that's what I'm honestly looking the most forward to is which one of these guys that you could make the case for the face of their team take it to the next level in this football game and get open and make yards after the catch and allow their team to go win a football game in the playoffs.
This is going to sound a little weird, but I really do think Malachi Toney can be a bigger X factor in this game than Jeremiah Smith.
I think
he can throw the ball. He can, run the ball. He's run the ball for multiple touchdowns, and he's obviously a great receiver. So he can do it in kind of three different ways. I would say Jeremiah Smith is more consistent in doing it just because he's a few years older and he's played in bigger games than Toney has, obviously because he's a freshman. But Malachi Toney is going to be able to break this game open in more ways than Jeremiah Smith can. It's just a matter of can you do it consistently, and are we going to see the kind of off the record type of play calls in this game that Miami pulled out a little bit last week and a few times towards the end of the season. And is he going to be able to get the ball in his hands and make those plays? I think that's the difference between the two.
What's so funny about what you just said that's so true is there's a line on FanDuel for Malachi Toney over half passing yard. Like, I really want to take that. The over it's minus 110, a half a passing yard. I really want to take that on the chance, like you said, that Toney catches, a behind the lines of scrimmage screen pass or an end around and just dumps one up the field. That line's intriguing to me. So I agree with you. And to your point, like I said a second ago, I think he has to be a bigger X factor than Jeremiah Smith because Ohio State can go so many different directions with the talent on the field offensively. Not that Miami can't, but Ohio State's a different level, man. They just really are. So the last thing for me on this before we get off this game, unless you have anything else, is that Ohio State defense, they play tons of different coverage in that secondary. So they're very good at confusing the opposing quarterback, the opposing receivers. That defensive line is very, very deep. They'll stay fresh throughout the whole entire game. So how does Miami handle a fresh defense all the time? And Miami's got to generate that pass rush early on saying because that Ohio State offensive line hasn't been great as of late. So maybe they can find something there.
Yes. If you can put Nolan's comment up on the screen that just came through. I tend to agree with him. I wouldn't say it's going to be a cakewalk, but I think Miami's just going to be overwhelmed. They're going to have to play a near perfect game.
Hey, I wish Nolan was here because if he said that right now on the show, I just would love to look at him and just talk about his bracket being 2-2 because I don't think it's an easy win, Nolan. I do think Ohio State wins. I'm with you. I don't think it's easy. I don't know if I like the word easy, Nolan, but maybe you're right, and I'm probably wrong on this one because I just can't give it all the way to Ohio State here just yet. I think Miami does have I think they match up good enough to keep it close. So anything else on this one, Bryant?
No, I think this is – personally, I think this is the game I'm looking most forward to watching is that one right there. Maybe because it's the only one that's today, but I think that's number one on the watch list for me right now. It'll probably be a snoozer like last week.
yeah, especially if you and Nolan think it's an easy win, man. I hope it's not an easy win. I want to see some good football.
Absolutely.
Okay, moving on to the next one here. Oregon versus Texas Tech. This is the Orange Bowl. This is New Year's Day tomorrow, 11 a.m. on ESPN. Oregon minus 2.5, over under 51.5. No one's going to get some comments and get after me over Texas Tech again here. I can feel it. I know he's going to, and I love when he does it because, Bryant, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one on this network with our picks that has Texas Tech advancing in this football game. And I'm still standing on business when I tell you that. So what do you have on this one?
Yeah, I had Oregon winning this game in our bracket, but I definitely think this can go either way. I think this is a battle of strength on strength. I think Oregon's offense is their strength, and I think Texas Tech's defense is obviously their strength. So who can prevail there? On the flip side, Texas Tech's offense is their weakness, and Oregon's defense is their weakness. So, like we've said multiple times last week on the review of the first round, Oregon is getting healthy, but they're still not completely there. Texas Tech is well rested at this point. I think this game solely rests on can Van Morton get it done for Texas Tech, and can they move the ball and score? Um, that's going to be the X factor in this game, in my opinion. Texas Tech is going to slow down Oregon. They're not going to stop them completely, I don't think, because of how many weapons they have. And Dante Moore is playing pretty good football, as well as the weapons he has outside in Moore and Sadiq and all the above for that matter. So that's going to be the X factor in this game, like I mentioned. Can Baron Morton kind of facilitate this offense like he has for most of the season, minus a couple games where he was at least not effective? But I think that's what's going to matter in this game.
I completely agree with you that the two biggest X factors for me in this game are both on Texas Tech. It's Texas Tech's secondary defensively and Baron Morton in the passing game for Texas Tech offensively. I think the fact that Baron Morton is completely healthy and is good to go in this game and is ready to rock, that gives me a little bit more confidence that Texas Tech really does get this done. I mean, he's completed 67% of his passes on the season, just 4 interceptions. I do think him not being able to use his legs kind of comes into play a little bit because I do think Oregon will be able to get after him. But on the flip side of this, I don't think that Dante Moore or Oregon has seen a defensive front seven anywhere near like Texas Tech. Some people are going to say Indiana, and I get it, and I understand all the hype behind Indiana right now. But, man, dude, David Bailey is an animal. Romello Height's an animal. That's like a combined 22 and a half sacks, 17 and a half tackles for a loss on the season from David Bailey himself. This is a really, really good front seven. But like I said, the X factor of Texas Tech's secondary is if that front seven for Texas Tech is not getting home, then it's Dante Moore is going to be able to have his fun with these receivers that he has. Because like you mentioned, DeCorian Moore and Kenyon Sadiq are two of the best in the business. DeCorian Moore is a lightning in a bottle when the ball's in his hands. Kenyon Sadiq is reliable as it gets underneath to get you a first down. He's a security blanket for Dante Moore, and they spread the ball around very, very well, this Oregon team does. Oregon also loves to run the football, Brian. And that's where Texas Tech, to your point, strength on strength a little bit, can maybe slow that Oregon offense down and put it all in Dante Moore's hands. We've talked about this on this network many a times. Dante Moore is extremely talented. We made a case for a while that he should have been the Heisman. We had those conversations, and I'm not trying to backtrack on those conversations, but the conversation at hand for me with Dante Moore is there's a lot of times, Bryant, where I'm looking at him and I'm like, what were you thinking? Especially in the red zone. You know, he can turn the ball over in the red zone and force some things that he shouldn't. And you even saw it in that JMU game against a lesser opponent. Do I think they were really trying to keep their foot on the gas all the way? Probably not. But still, man, you can't be doing those mistakes in the red zone, especially if people are saying that you're the 1-1 in the draft, right?
Absolutely. And we've lost a few bucket segments because of Dante Moore in the red zone this season, like that Northwestern game that was horrible beat and a few others. But
you just had to bring that back up today.
If I'm Oregon, what I'm doing is I'm going to try to take away that pass rush of Texas Tech. I'm going to run a lot of RPO. I'm going to run straight up the middle. I'm not going to try to run that outside zone or anything like that, and maybe some quick play action passes, slant type stuff to just get the ball out quick and not even let Texas Tech get to you. I think that's the ticket to success for them. It also allows for quicker reads for Dante Moore and less time for him to think and over analyze the defense and make those mistakes that you just talked about. That's what I would do if I was them. And I'm looking forward to see if that truly is what their game plan is going to revolve around.
See, I think Oregon's weakness is their offensive line. That's why I like this Texas Tech front seven in this football game. And Tech has to keep Dante Moore in the pocket. That's where you want to keep him. He's lethal outside the pocket and extending the plays. So that's where he does best. So I want to see that front seven take care of him right there, Bryant.
That's what I'm saying. If you're at Oregon, you cannot let them pin their ears back and come after you. you got to get the ball out quick. And if I was them, like I said, that's what I would try to do is RPO type passes and quick runs up the middle, and then pop a play action outside every once in a while.
Yep, absolutely. And I think you're right. I think you see a lot of Oregon, to your point, getting the ball out really, really quick and letting their playmakers go to go get extra yards after the catch, and kind of let them do the scoring on their own, because they do have the athletes to do that. I mean, that's where they excel. So this is, and no one comes in and says best game of the weekend. I don't disagree with him. I think, to me, this is going to be – I think it's going to be a slugfest, dude. I really, really do. I love Texas Tech's run game. They have two really good running backs that can go get the job done, and I'm anxious to see how they do when it comes to that. I just, like you said early on, the Baron Morton question does loom heavily in my head, because I don't think he's played a team like Oregon either.
No, Dante Moore is, I wouldn't say by far, but he's a head above Baron Morton in this game as far as being the better quarterback of the two.
I think you can say by far, Bryant, honestly.
Yeah. So you never know. A lot of times it seems like it's the easy thing to say that the guy with all the experience is going to come in and just be good. And it always seems like sometimes the guy with less experience comes in and plays better. So we'll see. This is an intriguing matchup for sure, just because of, like I said, strength on strength.
Yep. Yeah, last thing for me, Texas Tech really struggles to get it to third and manageable. They do keep it long on third down, and that's where they struggle a little bit. Cannot allow that to happen in this football game. You got to keep it manageable, keep your offense on the field, and extend some drives.
Absolutely.
Good on this one, Bryant?
Yep.
All right, let's move on to this next one that I think is going to be just as good as that last game, and this is the Rose Bowl, Alabama versus Indiana tomorrow, New Year's Day, 3:30 ESPN. Indiana -7, over under 48.5. I might be the lone wolf on this one as well, rolling with Alabama. I said it before the playoffs got going. I cannot get away from it now, Bryant. If Alabama beats Oklahoma, they build the momentum and they take down Indiana and they win this football game. I'm still standing on that, and I think I'm by myself. But what are you looking for in this one?
I think it comes down to two things. Can Indiana's secondary, which has played extremely well all season, limit the passing attack of Alabama? Because we've seen it all season. That's really all they have. And I think they do. So Ty Sims is going to have to make some tight window throws, some back shoulder type stuff, just to try to get it going, because I think Indiana is going to, I wouldn't say lock down, but they're going to highly limit this passing attack and force Alabama to run the ball, which, like I said, they have not been able to do all season. On the flip side, Mendoza has struggled. I wouldn't say struggled. He hasn't played as well against top 25 type teams.
Struggle.
And the stats back that up. He did play okay against Ohio State in the Big Ten title game, but it wasn't anything to write home about. So I think if he can somehow boost that level of play against a better opponent, which Alabama obviously is, this is probably their second or third best team they played. And if he can, I think they win the football game. They're getting Omar Cooper back healthy. Surratt is still really good. I mean, they can run the ball effectively. They're just a well-oiled machine on the offensive side of the ball. It's just a matter of can Mendoza play well, which I think he can. I just think Indiana is going to take advantage of their strengths in this game and make Alabama, play better with their weaknesses, if that makes sense.
I have so many notes on this game. Like, to your point, the Mendoza thing, against top 25 opponents, he's 62%, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Against non-AP top 25 teams, he's 12% better on the completion at 74% and has 29 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So there's 2 different versions of Mendoza. Everybody keeps talking about 2 different versions of Ty Simpson. Which version do we get? And that's very, very true. But there's also multiple versions of Mendoza that people seem to overlook a lot just because they love this Indiana conversation. They love the Cignetti conversation. And I get it. It's fun. It's cool. It's new. It's something different to watch. I've said it all year, and I hate being this guy. And part of me hopes he proves me wrong because I love the guy's story. I'm just not that Mendoza guy. I'm just not. And I haven't been all season, and I don't think I'm going to start right now. I think Alabama can get this done. I also have that question. Where is Ryan Williams? We've had that conversation for weeks now. I feel like
to show out, brother.
It's his time. Listen, if you turn on mainstream sports media, everybody's having the conversation of, where's Ryan Williams? We're having that conversation too. He's been asked, are you going to transfer? He's been asked all these questions in the media this week leading up to this game. Brian, that tells me that they're setting this thing up for a Ryan Williams coming out party this season and going to show Indiana and remind him who he is. Because you get the ball in his hand, he still is lethal. He may have like 10 drops on the season, which is not good, but with the ball in his hands, if he could just secure the catch, he's honestly as lethal as anybody when he gets loose. So I think that he's going to have a big game. People also, you talked about Surratt and Cooper. Let's not forget Charlie Becker for Indiana. He's become a massive emphasis in this passing attack for this Indiana football team. It also comes back to that conversation, right? And we could use. Go ahead.
Indiana's got just as good. I wouldn't say they're like B+ tier compared to Alabama's A tier wide receivers. Like Indiana's receivers are good.
So I think Surratt and Cooper could go start for Alabama.
Absolutely.
But and I could use this for any of these games, right? But it comes back to the topic of conversation of, did Indiana lose all their momentum? We saw Oregon last year go on this crazy run through the whole regular season. None of us thought Oregon was going to get beat when they came to the playoffs, and they had all this momentum. And like I said, I know you can say this about Georgia, Texas Tech, and Ohio State. But I think Georgia and Ohio State are definitely different. And I don't think Texas Tech quite had all that hype and media surrounding them like Indiana does. How do they get off the ball early on and carry this momentum after having it for so long all season? I think Alabama got the momentum. I think it's on their side right now. And I love the fact that Bama knows what it takes to get the job done. I also love the fact that Stephen Daly is out for Indiana on this defensive line. He's a top 2 defensive lineman for them. That's a massive, massive loss. And it kind of feeds into what Bama wants to do, Bryant. They are very good at explosive plays, and Indiana is vulnerable to explosive plays in the passing attack. I like that setup for Alabama. I really do. And I don't think Bama really runs the ball much, but I think they just look at Ty Simpson and say, hey, man, we can't run it. Get the job done. We have 25 rushing yards in the last 2 games. It's going to be on your shoulders. Just throw it 45 times.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do, and I think that's playing in Indiana's strength if they can limit the explosive plays like you mentioned. Because Indiana is going to be able to run the ball. I think Roman Hemby is far way better than any running back that Bama has right now. So, and he's been more effective all season. But yeah, it's kind of playing into Indiana's strength a little bit. But the explosive plays that Indiana does let up is how Alabama scores points right now. So we're going to see if that plays into, or which team that plays into.
So I have a stat for you, and I don't know if you know this or not. Maybe you do. Indiana has only allowed 7 passing touchdowns all season, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
All 7 in different games. There has been no quarterback to throw multiple touchdowns against this Indiana secondary all season. So to your point, that feeds right into Indiana because that secondary is insanely good. Insanely good. Yes. But I don't know. I think teams play different in the playoffs. I think some of these teams get a little bit more angst about them. And I trust Ty Simpson. I really do, man. He's played in big games all season long. This is by far and away, in my opinion, the biggest game for Indiana all season. Some people are going to say it's against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. It's not close, in my opinion. I think this game is much bigger. This is Indiana playing name brand Alabama. Does that cause a little bit of angst for Mendoza and the rest of these players on this team? Like, I just go back to that Penn State game often when it comes to these matchups like this, Bryant. Indiana should have, could have, and would have got beat if Omar Cooper didn't toe tap in the back of the end zone. And I know we all remember that play because Gus Johnson's voice broke like 9 times on the call. Just go back to that game often, man. I think Alabama matches up better with Indiana than Penn State does.
Yeah, there's an argument that Penn State's defense was better than Alabama's at that point in time, or at least right now.
Yeah, I just think Bama's defense has progressed. I think they're going to be healthy in this football game.
I think you hit the nail on the head earlier. If there was a team I would pick in this, the 4 teams that got buys 1 through 4, I would say Indiana is the one I'd be worried about with cobwebs and knocking off the dust and the rust a little bit and getting going. I think that would be the one team that would worry me is this team right here. I know they're the number 1 seed, but this is like their first time in the spotlight, basically. And will that rust show out in the first couple quarters? And and slow them down to where they get behind and can't come back. We'll see. I think that you hit the nail on the head with that one. But
Yeah,
I do think they're the better team.
I want to clarify this too because I don't want people to sit here and say that I'm a Bama homer. No, I hate Alabama. I am an Alabama hater. Look, I am tired of Alabama's name being in conversations too. I just think that this is one of those moments that you're going to find out. And honestly, dude, if we come back here and do our review episode and I get to be the laughing stock of the show and you, Nolan, and Dave get to laugh at me because Indiana wins this game by 40, I don't think I would be entirely shocked, but I'm still confident that Bama gets this thing done, man. I'm pumped for this game. I really am. And I want to be right more about this one than any game all season long. I'm gonna be honest with you.
We shall see. It's always snap the football.
Anything else on this one for you?
No.
Okay, let's get on to this next one here. And honestly, not that I'm not looking forward to this game. It's still a college football game. I'm still pumped up. It's still the playoffs. But this one for me is like the least exciting one, I think. And that's the Sugar Bowl. That's New Year's Day night at 7 p.m. on ESPN. Ole Miss versus Georgia. Georgia minus 6.5. Over under 55.5. I can't figure out why I'm not excited for this game. I guess maybe it's because it's a rematch. I don't know, Brian. Am I wrong about this? Are you pumped up for this one?
I think this is probably the most intriguing game of the weekend, at least for who's going to show out and what happens. But I would agree with you. It just kind of seems like it's on there, and I forgot they play tomorrow at 7 p.m. type thing. I think the whole Lane Kiffin leaving kind of puts a little damper on that a little bit because he would hype this game up a little more. It's just an interesting matchup, and like you said, one we've already seen. So that kind of puts a damper on it too. But hey, this is still a playoff game. Yep. I have Georgia going all the way to the end. So kind of big for my bracket as well. And I think it comes down to basically can Ole Miss move the ball and score on this Georgia defense? And we'll dive into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I got a comment coming in here from Mike. I don't think it will happen, but I would love for Ole Miss to win as a big FU to Kiffin. Hey, there's a lot of that out there. And let's be honest, man, this Ole Miss team has completely rallied around Pete Golding at head coach. Like, I think there's an element that makes this team a little bit more lethal because of that, and they're kind of rallying and they're trying to prove a point. And to Mike's point in his comments, they're trying to give that FU to Kiffin for leaving and going to LSU. You didn't have to leave. We're here. We're trying to win a championship right now. So I think there is that element there, but I do think when it comes down to X's and O's late in the game, it's tight. You're in a big-time matchup. Lane Kiffin is who I would pick over Pete Golding to make those coaching calls late in the football game. So I think that element is there as well. For Ole Miss too, how healthy is Chambliss and Keywan Lacey? We saw both those guys get banged up in that last football game, and I'm here to tell you right now, the Lacey loss is a much bigger loss than Chambliss, in my opinion. If Lacey is not 100%, that to me is a massive, massive question. Brian, he's going to play.
He's good to go, but a shoulder injury for the running back is minus like a leg, a knee injury or something. That's probably the second worst you could have because that's your leading. You're leading. You're running through the pack or running through the gap every time. So I think that one's probably a little bit more of a question mark than Chambliss. I think Chambliss will be fine because I think he could have came back in that game if he needed to. Yeah. Just didn't. So yeah, we talked about Oregon and them getting healthy. I think Ole Miss the opposite for Ole Miss is, are they injured?
Yeah, and he is the focal point of their offense because he allows this passing attack. He allows the RPO and the play action to get going because he has been so damn good. He's been a top 5 running back on the season, and you're going to have him. Here's one thing for me, Brian. I do not trust this Ole Miss defense whatsoever. The last matchup, Georgia ran 80 plays for 510 yards in the first matchup. I don't trust anything about this Ole Miss defense to slow down Georgia. And let's be honest about something, too. We don't talk about Gunnar Stockton hardly at all. And we do. We're not praising him. We're not talking about how good he is. Gunnar Stockton is just a guy that goes in and finds ways to win football games. Doesn't do anything crazy, but is not afraid to get out of the pocket and go get his head knocked off and to get a first down. Like, he is a guy that truly plays the Kirby Smart Georgia mentality football game to win you games. He's not flashy. He just does what it takes.
Yeah, this is literally Stetson Bennett 2.0. Like Stetson
Yes.
Bennett was really not that good in my opinion, and they won a national title with him. And I think Gunnar Stockton has a chance to do the same thing. He's not going to flash you on paper. He's not going to flash you in the eye test, but he just seemingly does what he needs to do each and every play to move the sticks and get positive yards and not turn the ball over. So he's going to have to do it in this game, but I think Ole Miss is going to allow him to do that because, like you said, their defense is not the best. I think it's the worst defense that's remaining in the playoffs.
Yes.
So, and that kind of plays right into Georgia. They want to control the ball. They want to run. They want to move it down methodically and win football games that way because they know their defense is going to hold up on the other side. And their defense has played much, much better as of late too. So kind of seems to be a perfect storm brewing for the Bulldogs right now. And this matchup kind of plays into that a little bit.
To your point, Georgia's got that pass rush generating a little bit here recently, and that's big. Yeah. But yeah, I think Georgia gets discredited quite a bit because their offense is just boring. I mean, it's just that. It's just a boring offense. It's not.
It was boring with Stetson Bennett too, and exactly. They won the Natty.
And people get so pissed watching them because I feel like Georgia's going to do exactly what people don't like. They're going to put Ole Miss in a sleeper hold and just kill them softly in the second half of this football game. Like they're going to lull them to sleep, man. They're going to do what it takes to win a football game. With that defense, let's talk about what they need to do defensively as well, though. You got to keep Chambliss in the pocket. You got to rush from the outside in, contain the edges. Don't let him get out, extend drives. That's where he's lethal. So if they do that, they're going to be just fine. Limit explosive plays, man. That's all Georgia has to do to win this football game handily.
Absolutely, because that's what Ole Miss thrives on, especially with Chambliss, whether it's making plays over the top or getting 20, 30-yard runs up the middle.
Yeah, and Georgia's passing attack cooked Ole Miss the first game, and they're a lot better now. Colby Young went out in that game. He's back full go in this football game. Mm-hmm. I think Ole Miss has their hands full all the way around, Brian.
I think cooked. I think Ole Miss is going to key in on some of these receivers. I think you're going to see the tight end that we've been used to for Georgia. You know, for years, the tight end kind of seems to make the difference, and that's hilarious. They're still going to play. It doesn't matter. This is a common occurrence at the University of Georgia. But yeah, I think you're going to see the tight end get more involved this week, and Georgia's going to roll. I think personally.
The comment that Brian's laughing at that came in here live from Mike is over under 2.5 Georgia players get arrested tonight. If there was a line on FanDuel on that, it wouldn't be as high as you think. It's probably like plus 250. It's not as far off as you think. I think if you put it at 1.5, I'm betting it, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't say they probably get arrested tonight, but tomorrow night after the game, I would think that'd probably be minus like 115.
Dude, Georgia and Ole Miss, there was videos, I'm assuming it's true, that they already met like on Bourbon Street. Isn't this in New Orleans? They already met on Bourbon Street or something, and they were talking all kinds of shit. And I saw a funny comment. I guess it's not really funny. I'm not going to say it. It was a funny comment. I'm probably not going to repeat it, actually. I really want to, but this is not the time and place, I guess. But yeah, Mike, that's a great point. I mean, and to Brian's point as well, it doesn't matter. They're still going to play. It doesn't matter. Let me look left on a different screen here. So if I'm looking to your left on your screen, it looks a little goofy, but let's review our picks here real quick. And so in this round of the playoffs, Bryant's bracket is still perfect up to this point. Bryant has Oregon over Texas Tech, Indiana over Alabama, Georgia over Ole Miss, and Ohio State over Miami. And I think ours are pretty similar, Bryant. Actually, no, we have two different. So one of us two is going to use our perfect bracket this weekend, I would assume. And
your top side of the bracket is completely opposite of mine. We're the same on the bottom.
Yep, Georgia and Ohio State advancing for me, but I have Texas Tech beating Oregon and Alabama beating Indiana. So we'll see how this shapes up. One of us is going to be wrong. One of us is going to be right. And maybe we split it and we get one right, one wrong.
Yeah, I think the biggest game I'm not going to, but I'd possibly switch would probably be Texas Tech. But, Oregon could easily win that game too. So I think that's the one that's kind of on the wire. I'm pretty confident Indiana is going to take care of business to get Alabama. And then we agree on the other two, I think, completely. So we'll see.
We'll see, baby. We'll see how this shakes out.
I'm glad we don't have the same picks. That makes it more fun.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Watch both Georgia and Ohio State lose. That'd be funny. So to move on to the last segment here for us, you know how we do things on our pre episodes. The Book It segment, 90 and 91. We're shopping books, we're buying hooks, trying to get the best lines out there. Plays are on the screen for you if you're on YouTube. But Bryant and I are going to read through them. Let's see, Bryant. We have 10 plays this week for you. Actually, 11, I think. And I need to run this one by Bryant. I added this one right here before we came on the show. And I'll go ahead and lead off with this one, Brian. If you like it, we can continue. If you don't, you can tell me to stop. And that's Max Clare over 2.5 receptions for Ohio State. How do you feel about that one?
I like it because I think Indiana's going to key in on Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith and Brandon Ennis. And I think you're going to see Ohio State going to have to facilitate, or excuse me, not Indiana, Miami. You're going to have to see them facilitate the ball a little bit more. So I like that.
Max Clare over 2.5 receptions. You heard it here first. We discussed that one, putting it on the play card. Book it. All right, Brian, lead us off here.
Our first pick is Texas Tech team total under 26.5. So that means we have Texas Tech to score under 26 points in this football game. We're going to book that for our first play of the quarterfinals.
Texas Tech, staying right there. And this is something that we never do. And I would advise everybody out there that's listening to this right now to not do what we're about to do. Take one or the other, because this is where you can get yourself caught. We're going to take Texas Tech +3. And why I say that we can get ourselves caught here is if Texas Tech gets behind early and we need them to get over that 26.5 team total to cover that Texas Tech +3, you're very vulnerable to lose one of these two for sure right here. But Brian and I had further discussion on this because we don't like doing this, but we talked about how we truly think Texas Tech keeps this Oregon game low scoring, and they can get this thing done, in a 21-20 type football game, a 24-22. We think it gets close, 24-23, somewhere in that range. So we still do like both these plays a lot. Book it.
Our third one is Alabama and Indiana over 47. Like this pick a lot. Indiana's going to score points. Can Alabama keep up with them in this game? And if they can, like Colin thinks they will, this game should go over. So we're going to take Alabama over and Indiana over 47.
Next one for you that we have here is this Georgia-Ole Miss game. You probably heard us. You could tell by the way we were talking that we just don't think Ole Miss has what it takes to get the job done in this football game. We just don't think they're going to be able to hang around and keep up. Give us Georgia -6. Book it.
Next one we have is Miami and Ohio State. We're taking the first half under 21.5 points. So we're thinking it's going to be a low-scoring first half. So we like this pick a lot. Miami, Ohio State, first half under 21.5. Book it.
Hey, this is one of those that you see a lot of Ohio State games be low-scoring, and Miami just played a 10-3 football game, and, there's 37 points in the first half of this football game. This is totally setting up for something like that, Brian. But judging by all the research we've done and the way we've laid eyes on these teams, surely this doesn't take off like that. We had a Max Clare play, the tight end for Ohio State. We're going to stay right in that Ohio State game on these prop bets for you. The first one that we have is Brandon Ennis, over 12.5 receiving yards. I like the Max Clare, Brandon Ennis approach on this because all the eyes are going to be on Tate and Jeremiah Smith, and when those guys still are very good at getting open when they have all the eyes on them. Brandon Ennis, I feel like 12.5 yards is very, very doable, especially just on one catch. I mean, this is going to be
one play.
Yeah, this is going to be. I'm going to paint you a picture right now how this is going to happen, Brian. It's going to be Brandon Ennis. The play is going to break down. He's going to be leaking across the middle of the field, about 25 yards downfield. All the defensive backs are looking for Tate and Smith, and Ennis is just going to be wide open across the deep middle on a deep drag, and he's going to cash this on one play. So Brandon Ennis over 12.5 receiving yards. Book it.
You're thinking like one catch for 22 yards?
I think he can get a couple catches, but I think he's going to hit this on just one catch.
I love it. Next one, we have Jacoby Williams. He is the running back for Texas Tech. We have him at over 45.5 rushing yards. I like this a lot. I think he's going to have to get going to take the pressure off Baron Morton. And so he's going to have plenty of opportunities to run the ball and get past this yardage point. So we have Jacoby Williams over 45.5.
Yeah, it's kind of a two-headed monster there. Kind of two-headed monster there at the running back position for Texas Tech, but I like that. I think Jacoby Williams is the big play type guy. And I think he averages like 60 yards a game, Brian. And I feel like this is just a little low. Maybe we get got on this. And usually when we talk about this all the time, the lines seem a little fishy and they're off by quite a bit. Stay away from them. But hey, we just got hook, line, and sinkered on this one. I love it, though. Here is an interesting one because I made a point earlier about how Indiana hasn't allowed multiple passing touchdowns to any quarterback in the same game. That was a talking point on mainstream sports media. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to go against it because anytime they talk about things like this kicker hasn't missed a kick, he misses that kick. We're taking Ty Simpson over 1.5 passing touchdowns. You know why we're taking it? Because it's plus 112, Brian. There's money to be made right here on this one. Ty Simpson over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Book it. If they're going to have a chance in this football game, it's not going to be because they run the ball. It's going to be because their receivers break loose and get long touchdowns. Love this play right here at plus money, Brian.
Yeah, I like that a lot. We'll see if Indiana can continue, but we don't think so. So I love that play. Next one we have is Ryan Williams over 30.5 receiving yards. We kind of hinted at it a little bit. It's time to put up or shut up, and I think he starts doing that in this game. So we got Ryan Williams over 30.5 receiving yards. Similar to Brandon Inniss, I think he could hit this in one play.
Hey, it's time for Ryan Williams to put out or get out, baby. he's getting it or he's getting out. I don't know what else to say about him. And once again, all the mainstream sports media talking about Brian Williams and how he's bad and how he needs a transfer and how he can't catch the ball. It's time, baby. Love when the media sets us up for these right here. Last play on the Book It segment card for you that we have is Oscar Delp, the tight end from Georgia, over 1.5 receptions. Really like this play. I think this can hit early, Brian. I think the last 3 or 4 games he's had a total of like 9 or 10 catches. So I think this one can hit fairly quickly, fairly easily. Gunnar Stockton looked to check it down to him a little bit and get a couple first downs here. So Oscar Delp over 1.5 receptions. Book it.
I love this. I think you're going to see him and Lawson Lucky get highly involved in this game. And they use both of those tight ends a lot. And so I think you're going to see multiple catches for both of them, honestly. So I love this play as well. Like I mentioned in the review, Georgia's going to get the tight end involved. They always do this time of year. And so that plays right into this pick.
Yeah, it's absolutely Georgia tight ends time to shine. Like you said, this is what they do right here at the end of the season. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here, Brian?
No, looking forward to these games. There's a lot of interesting matchups, some rematches, some totally different conferences. That's what the playoffs is about. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. Happy New Year to all of you. Thanks for rocking with us. We love having you guys. We love doing these live shows. We love when the chat gets going. It makes it a lot of fun. We love, honestly, Brian, I love doing like these mid-morning shows, like the day of these games. It kind of gets the juices flowing because there's no real good pre-game college football show out there like there is for the NFL. Like I love getting in here, getting the juices flowing. I'm going to get out of here and place like 27 bets. I'm going to bet that whole Book It card like we always do. And I'm probably just going to start sprinkling stuff all over the place because I'm juiced up for this playoff situation. So, hey, make sure you're getting them bets in. We're 90 and 91. It's time to get to the plus money, Bryant.
Absolutely. I had something I was going to say, but I lost it. I can't remember.
Too important then, huh?
I don't remember what I was going to say, but whatever.
Hey, everybody out there, be safe. Enjoy your evening. Have fun with the family. Happy holidays to all those involved. We will be back next week, maybe even later. Yeah, next week, reviewing all these playoff games. Tune in. It's going to be an awesome weekend for college football. And you can follow us on Facebook, Deep Threat Sports Network, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Deep Threat Sports, on X at DT_sports_. Hey, until next time, everybody, that's Brian. I'm Colin. Peace.